dressing to the red carpet in a striking ivory pantsuit with intricate floral sequin embroidery. The full-sleeve blazer with its structured shoulders and matching flared trousers screamed confidence and elegance. And then there was Janhvi Kapoor, who never shies away from shimmer and shine. Draped in a shimmering silver sari adorned with intricate sequin detailing, she exuded timeless chic. Moving on to 2023, the red carpet was a celebration of the timeless sari, with some of the biggest stars showcasing their unique takes on this classic ensemble. Kiara Advani, who was awarded the Star of the Year, owned the spotlight in a lime green turban sari by Manish Malhotra. The delicate beadwork along the border of the sari added a touch of shimmer to the understated hue, while the sleeveless sparkly blouse brought out elegance. Kiara's look was one of the most memorable looks of the night. Bhumi Pednekar's white sari by Asal by Abu Sandeep was another stunning highlight. The mirror embroidery and gold worsely thread detailing in the sari, paired with a dramatic floor-length organza cape, gave Bhumi a dreamy, ethereal vibe that left everyone in awe. Kriti Sanon, who bagged the Popular Choice Best Actress Award for Mimi, glowed in a Seema Gujral sari that sparkled with pearls and crystals.
Good evening, you're watching Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. The Nagpur riots case file is now unraveling. Details coming out of the FIR shine light on how rioters made obscene and lewd gestures at women while they were spreading violence, while they were spreading arson and complete chaos on the streets of Nagpur 2 days ago. There were women that were caught in the crosshairs of these rioters. They even molested women police officers as per the FIR. Now, among the 50 arrests, police have now zeroed in on who they claim is the mastermind of this attack, the man who allegedly mobilized the crowd to torch homes and vehicles and vandalize public property. 2 days after Nagpur witnessed this violence, in which at least 34 police personnel and 3 locals were injured, all signs now seem to be pointing to the fact that this could be pre-planned. As per the FIR details that we've accessed here on CNN News 18, the main accused in the case, Faheem Khan, who is also reported to be the mastermind behind this mayhem, gathered a group of people outside the mosque and the police station. Faheem Khan then made provocative statements against the Hindu groups that were protesting, which is the VHP and the Bajrang Dal. The protests, of course, were against the Aurangzeb's tomb. He even claimed that Bajrang Dal and Vishwa Hindu Parishad set ablaze a cloth with Quran verses inscribed on it. That, of course, turned out to be a rumor, is what the police have confirmed. The message soon spread among the masses, following which the violence ensued. In fact, a video that's now doing the rounds and is also being investigated by the Nagpur police shows this particular individual, Faheem Khan, right outside a police station, where he said that we need to stand together against this kind of commentary that is coming to the fore as far as Aurangzeb's mazar is concerned. That video is now under investigation by the Nagpur police, and they believe that is what triggered this entire sequence of events and the violence that was witnessed in Nagpur.
प्रदर्शन करना किसी के खिलाफ आपका संवैधानिक अधिकार है, लेकिन मुसलमानों की कलमे की चादर को जलाना ये कहाँ की बात हुई? वहाँ पर जो है कलमे की चादर को जलाई गई, जिसमें हमारे कुछ बंदों ने जाके विरोध किया और उसके बाद में प्रकरण सामने आया और पुलिस वालों ने लाठीचार्ज सिर्फ एक पक्ष के ऊपर किया, जबकि वो शांतिपूर्वक ढंग से वहाँ बैठकर सिर्फ ये डिमांड रख रहे थे कि जिन्होंने कलमे की चादर जलाई उनको अरेस्ट करो और उनको लेकर आओ। लेकिन मसला ये हुआ, आज यहाँ पे हमारे को जो है डीसीपी और एसीपी साहब ने जो है आश्वासन दिया कि, और वो हमेशा आश्वासन वाला लॉलीपॉप मिलता है हमारे को, जिसको हम बोलते हैं, अभी हमने वही बात की है कि आप कल बुलाओगे, उसको एक नोटिस देंगे और 2 घंटे के बाद में उसको सलाम दुआ कर देंगे फिर।
Now, that's a video that's under investigation, whether it is from the day of the 17th of March. Many believe it is, because he's talking about the protests of the VHP and the Bajrang Dal. But this allegation that he makes in that video about certain religious content that was burnt, that was set ablaze. That, of course, turned out to be a rumor, but unfortunately, that was enough to mobilize the mob, is what the police believe. In fact, right after this, there was another video that's now doing the rounds on social media, which is also being investigated by the police. This is from the streets of Nagpur, where you can see a group of people that have gathered there. There are certain controversial slogans that eulogize Aurangzeb that were raised in that particular video. Now, of course, CNN News 18 does not vouch for the authenticity of that, but it does corroborate certain details that are mentioned in the FIR and details that the police now seems to be probing. This crowd was seen outside the police station raising those pro-Aurangzeb slogans. Now, who is this particular individual, Faheem Khan? He is a local leader of the Minorities Democratic Party. He has been identified as the alleged mastermind by the police. His arrest came hours after his name was officially included in an FIR that was registered at the Ganeshpet police station in Nagpur. Now, this 38-year-old leader is the city president of the MDP. He contested the recently concluded 2024 Lok Sabha elections as well from the Nagpur constituency. Of course, that failed miserably, he losing out to Nitin Gadkari with over 6.5 lakh votes. Police believe that there is video evidence to suggest Khan's provocative speech directly contributed to the escalation of tensions and violence, as we just showed you. Now, the political link is out, is what many say. The subsequent conspiracy angle is also under investigation. Remember, it was just yesterday that the Chief Minister on the floor of the Assembly had said that this looks like a pre-planned attack and not really a spur-of-the-moment violence. Now, the FIR mentions about 51 people, 36 of whom were produced in court late last night, all of them sent to police custody. But there are 500 other unnamed people that are also mentioned in the FIR. How is it possible that such large crowds accumulated in a spur of the moment in almost no time? That's a question many are asking. The FIR mentions that stones from metro construction sites were used by the mob for pelting. There are certain videos that are doing rounds on social media where trucks full of stones in this violence hit area were seen. That's something that the Chief Minister had also spoken of yesterday. Remember, he said there were trolleys of stones that were recovered from the residences in certain areas by the police officers. So was it then pre-planned? There are multiple CCTV footages that are under investigation now where the rioters seem to be armed with weapons. Probe officers have not recovered any of them so far. So where are those weapons? Is there a possibility that these weapons were gotten rid of before the arrests were made? That's something that's being investigated as well. Now, the FIR also mentions how these mobsters hurled abuses at the Hindu community, specifically targeting that one community, and even that police officers, including female officers, were misbehaved with. 3 DCP rank officers were injured during that violence. One of them was attacked with an axe, again as confirmed by the Chief Minister of the state. How were these weapons readily available at the residences of these people, or were they actually brought in to bring about that mayhem? All of that are questions that the state government needs to answer, that the police of Nagpur needs to answer. But as those pieces come together, the question we want to ask on plain speak is there now really credence to what the Chief Minister has said yesterday, that indeed this is a pre-planned conspiracy?
बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर स्टोन पेल्टिंग वहाँ पर हुई थी और कुछ एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स भी थे। तो वहाँ पे हमारे और भी कुछ अधिकारी और अमलदार जो है वो उसमें घायल हुए हैं।
वहाँ पर किसी प्रकार का कोई अफवाह फैल गया और उसके बाद फिर आगजनी हुई, तोड़फोड़ हुआ।
Is Aurangzeb relevant today? Do you think the tomb should be moved?
I think not relevant.
आणि मी एक गोष्ट स्पष्टपणे सांगतो, पोलिसांवर ज्यांनी हल्ला केला असेल त्यांना काय झालं तरी सोडलं जाणार नाही।
Let's open this up. Iqbal Sheikh, former ACP of Mumbai, is with us. Rohan Gupta, spokesperson of the BJP. Mahesh Chavan, spokesperson of NCP of the Sharad Pawar faction, and political analyst Syed Asad Abbas is with us as well. Iqbal Sheikh, let me begin by asking you before we get into the entire politics of this. From your preliminary eye, for you, does this look like this could have been a spur of the moment, one group clashed with another and things just spiraled out of hand sort of a situation? Or does this look pre-planned given the kind of videos, the kind of details that are now coming out?
Ma'am, there are so many things. The ambience, the atmosphere was boiling since afternoon, 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock. Once they started the procession, demonstration at Jhenda Chowk in Mahal area, and where the effigy or the tomb type reflection, the photograph of Aurangzeb, where first of all they hit chappals and then they burned the effigy, and it's reported that the tomb type reflection was covered with the green chadar and with the inscription of some Quranic ayats. So this has been happening since 12 noon to till 4-5 p.m. It was happening, and what has happened now? The people have become so much radical. They are claiming the colors of their own, like that saffron color, green color. If you remember that Padukone, Deepika Padukone's swimsuit was of saffron color. There was a lot of hue and cry. So now this thing has become very sensitive. First of all, let me condemn the gruesome attack on the police, wherein about 4 DCPs and about 30 policemen, women, they were injured, brutally injured. Even the DCP, Mr. Kadam, was attacked with an axe, which he could body it off on his hand, but got severely injured. So this type of attack is unpardonable. But the situation has been boiling for the last about 4-5 hours. And besides that, after burning the Aurangzeb's reflection of the tomb, his photograph, with the chadar inscribed with the Quranic ayahs, it went viral on video.
But Iqbal Sheikh, this burning of the Quranic verses, that was a rumor, is what the police has now come out and said. That's what the state government has also now come out and said, that it wasn't true at all.
Yeah, let me finish. The cyber cell of police should have stopped the circulation. They miserably failed it. And when the atmosphere, which was charged for the last so many hours, it automatically the stones are available around, and the axe is in the small districts is a sort of a regular weapon which is kept by the people for breaking the woods and all that. But if you say it was a prepared attack, pre-planned attack, then there is a definitely failure of police intelligence. Number one. Secondly, when the video went viral about that Quranic ayat inscribed on the chadar being burned, the cyber cell of Nagpur police should have stopped the circulation. They should have stopped the internet or something of the sort. And you could see when people and this word said, when it happened, when the video went viral, the people of Muslim community, where they were demanding action against the persons from RSS, VHP, Bajrang Dal, who had started the procession and did all those things. But anyhow, police did not seem to be taking immediate and prompt action. And this is how the other community felt. They are indifferent type. They are being treated indifferently.
And that's the most important bit. Rohan Gupta, if the Chief Minister, if the police believe that this was pre-planned, then the first question and the most pertinent question to be asked is, where was the intelligence? Why was there intel failure? If this was pre-planned, why did the state not see it coming? And those are a question a former ACP is also asking of you.
See, Poonam, the way the rumors were spread about burning of particular religious material, it was all over social media. And the way it was, obviously, it was pre-planned. That's why you had so many people at one place at the night. So I think, CM clearly told that whoever will be responsible, whoever should be punished. And this is not a small thing. There are evidences to prove that it was pre-planned. You cannot expect so many number of people coming together at a single point without a pre-planned activities. And rumors have been spread. Obviously, in time of social media, it's a most dangerous tool. Any government, anywhere, you cannot control it completely. The point is not here. Point is how this whole controversy has started. It is started by Mr. Abu Azmi. Why there was requirement of glorification of Aurangzeb? Something which is burnt in the history, let it be there. If you take it out, make controversial statement, and then don't expect reactions, this is bound to happen. We are a sensitive country. So a question needs to be asked to this kind of leaders, just for their political benefit, just for their appeasement. They take out something from the books of the leaf of the history and create rappers. This is the problem with the country today, with the opposition parties. So I think serious action should be taken against such leaders who are taking this kind of, who have taken
So
this
what
kind
is
of.
stopping the state government from taking action then? Abu Azmi was suspended from the assembly, even though the comment was not made in the assembly. But in terms of action legally being taken against Abu Azmi, there isn't any. But as far as this violence is concerned, it happened days after what Abu Azmi had said, Mahesh Chavan. Now the BJP and the state government says that that is what lit the fire. But be it Abu Azmi, be it the AIMIM, or be it this local minority leader who is now believed to be the mastermind, is there a concerted effort to try and keep the pot boiling over Aurangzeb?
Poonam, I believe so, that this issue they want, and this is the exact case of keeping the pot boiling. See, look at Mr. Devendra Fadnavis' statement yesterday on the floor of the House. What he said, that movie Chhawa triggered the anger against Aurangzeb, right? This is what he said. He never mentioned that it was because of Abu Azmi's statement. We, of course, condemn whatever statement Abu Azmi has made. But here you have to understand one thing, that maintaining the law and order situation and maintaining the peace and harmony in the state is the government's responsibility. It is Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, who is the chief minister and also the home minister. If he cannot keep his own city of Nagpur safe, how would he keep the entire Maharashtra safe? This is the question people are asking. And if today he's saying that it was a rumor, no religious material was burned, then he should find out who is the culprit, who has spread this rumor, and he should take stern action against them. Why you are blaming opposition? And lastly, but not the least, today you must have heard the statement from the RSS wherein they said that Aurangzeb is irrelevant. They said that any kind of violence is not acceptable. So if this is irrelevant, and I agree with this, that Aurangzeb today is irrelevant, what is relevant is the burning issues like inflation, unemployment, farmers' distresses, atrocities against women, and so many things.
Sure, but unfortunately, because of this irrelevant issue, as is being pointed out, Mahesh Chavan, by most people, we've seen violence and injuries and damage to public property in a peaceful city like Nagpur. I mean, when was the last time anybody had heard that we had seen riots like these or violence like this in Nagpur?
This is why I'm saying that this is the complete failure of the administration, of the government, and this is one more case of deteriorating law and order situation in Maharashtra. And one more thing I would like to bring to your notice here, Poonam. Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, being the chief minister of this state, he was saying a few days back that that grave should be removed, but he is helpless because it is an ASI protected structure. So if the chief minister of any state is saying like this, what else you can expect?
Rohan Gupta, quick rebuttal before I get in Syed Abbas as well. The questions are being raised of the state government because in the end, law and order and maintaining that is the state government's prerogative. It is the responsibility of the state government to ensure that. So now to say that opposition leaders fueled the fire, even if that is the case, and if proven so, it will be if legal action is taken. But even if that was the case, like I said, if we knew what was happening, if this was building up for so long, where was the intelligence? Where was the cyber cell? What has been done?
I completely agree. It
Even
is
this
responsibility of state.
so-called mastermind that has been arrested today is a belated arrest, so to say. He was not one of the first people that was arrested. His name in the FIR was only added today, 2 days after the violence that broke out.
See, Poonam, this is not the issue which is specific to particular region or particular. This is national issue. The way Abu Azmi made statement, it has created ripples across the country. But obviously, this does not happen everybody. When it is conspiracy, obviously, it is responsibility of state government, and that's why we are saying that nobody will be left who is responsible. But at the end of the day, people who started this, they should take responsibility. I think the spokesperson of NCP-SP, he is blaming government. Why is not questioning Mr. Abu Azmi? He's that partner in Indi Gadbandhan. They are not questioning them. So who has fueled this thing? We are sensitive country. We must remember that there are many things in history which we like or don't like, which are there part of our history. Why to create this kind of issues which can create this kind of ripples? You are not responsible for that. And again, I am saying it is the responsibility of state government, whoever is responsible, irrespective of creed, religion, whatever, whoever is responsible for this, they will be put behind the bars. But the basic point here is, in a country like us where we are very sensitive, why to create this kind of issues raising out of history and creating ruckus?
Sir, Asad Abbas, to glorify and venerate someone like Aurangzeb, is that something that should have been done in the first place? Because that's what seems to have lit this fire, lit this issue which most people believe is irrelevant. But unfortunately, that has dominated political discourse in Maharashtra for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Poonamji, I can tell you, I have read history, I've read historians who have comprehensively covered Aurangzeb. And I can tell you, as a matter of fact, Aurangzeb, as a ruler, is a cruel traitor. The fact of the matter, it's out in the history, he killed his own brother Dara Shikoh. He jailed his father Shah Jahan. I'm a millennial progressive Muslim here, and I will call out history like it is. But the fact is, the millennial in me, the youth in me will also ask, why are the politicians of today taking out an issue of 400 years old and bringing it to relevance now? How does it matter? If glorifying or eulogizing or demonizing Aurangzeb is going to help us with jobs, let's do it. If it's going to help us bring great level of empowerment, if it's going to help us in taking the GDP of all the respective states high, let's do it. But how does it matter? Let me take the onus and blame all those politicians who in the name of votes, who in the name of appeasement of all sorts, be it minority or majority, are trying to play this dirty game. Look at what has happened here. It is so unfortunate. It really takes a toll on my mental health and well-being that this is happening in my beautiful country. Allama Iqbal once said, "Mazhab nahi सिखाता, आपस में बैर रखना." Hindi hai hum, watan hai Hindustan hamara. And look what's happening in Nagpur. You're absolutely right, Poonamji, that Nagpur has a peace-loving city. And today this is happening. This is truly heartbreaking. So therefore, I think I never knew I'll agree with RSS, but today I completely agree with Mr. Sunil Ambekar, the RSS Pramukh chief of the organization, who has said that Aurangzeb is not relevant today. Let us all faiths, Hindu brothers, Muslim brothers, Sikh, Isai brothers, agree to the fact that this is not relevant. Let us fight for what is better in this country.
So then why
what will
are we seeing
get us
these kind of
hospitals,
riots?
roads.
Why are we seeing groups picking up stones, pelting them at police officers, at people who are doing their jobs, doing their duties?
This is absolutely wrong and highly condemnable. I think all those who are picking up stones, who are arsoning, need to understand there are many innocent homes that are there. There are many people who have nothing to do with this issue or cause. There are many people who are doing their daily jobs. But doing something like this is highly shameful and condemnable. And the fact that even the VHP or the Bajrang Dal or anyone associated there doing any kind of things, how is it going to help you there? आपका क्या अच्छा होगा? औरंगजेब रहे ना रहे, how does it matter to us? And Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, humbly through your channel, I'd like
they
to
have
say,
been asking for the removal of that tomb, which can be done legally by that monument being
I will
delisted
answer
as an ASI monument. If that is something that certain groups or certain people from the community want, why should they not make a demand of it? Why should they be held responsible for making that demand?
I will answer that. I will answer. That's a very rightful question, Poonamji. Let me take this on Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, who's been absolutely wrong on this front, and I'll tell you why. Respected sir, this is a history of 400 years back. You are the second time chief minister of Maharashtra. Why didn't you do it then? Didn't you know the history then? Why do you say that you will do it? If you want to do it, do it. Why do you send the court in the again send the ball in the court of ASI? respected sir, if it is in your, why are you trying to make this issue so communal? Time and again, agar karna hai aap kar do sarkar. Why but bring in this Hindu Muslim? Many of the BJP leaders today, or even Abu Azmi of the SP, or many of these fronts, why? Let me put the blame on the opposition, on the ruling dispensation. Please, with folded hands, I beg these political leaders to stop doing this. Innocent person like a DCP on duty, Mr. Kadam, unfortunately has been injured. I know police officers very closely. They sacrifice their personal life for this. Is this even warranted? Is this even right? This is absolutely shameful. Poonamji, I'm sure you are young yourself. You're a millennial yourself. I'm a
Asad
millennial.
Abbas,
Are we
the
happy
point
with
is
this?
that
We're not
unfortunately,
happy.
even after this, we're not seeing all politicians take one particular line, which is that no amount of violence, no amount of arson can be justified irrespective. Even yesterday and the day after the violence, the kind of reactions that we saw from the opposition in the state and outside were that hold the CM responsible, hold the state responsible. Sure, let's fix accountability, but also hold those responsible who wielded sticks and stones in their hand, because they are the ones who unleashed that kind of violence. But Rohan Gupta, you had your hand up. A quick rebuttal before I get in.
Poonam, I was happy to see comments of Mr. Sayyed. But at the end of the day, he says, Hamara Watan ek hai. Who is responsible for this ruckus? That gentleman has to come out and apologize in front of the country that, yes, I should not have made this comment. Number one. Number two, after that, why to glorify Aurangzeb? We all know that Aurangzeb was a cruel administrator. Nobody can deny that fact. Why to glorify him? Why should be that there should be debate that no, this is right or wrong, or GDP grown at his time? Why opposition parties are in their mindset of appeasement? They are forgetting that particular line where country is not happy with them. This question needs to be answered. You cannot when people get angry on certain issues which are raised by these so-called opposition leaders for their appeasement politics, they cannot be left like that. They have to
quick
be taken
answer
to
to
the
Rohan
task.
Gupta ji.
And if it is a moral responsibility
30 seconds to respond, please. I don't have much
Thank you.
time.
Rohan Gupta ji, it's seldom, sir. I completely agree with you on this front. There is no doubt about it. But let me add on and tell you, yes, sir, you are right. Why eulogize the cruel leader? Sir, do you know that Hindu-Muslim didn't matter to Aurangzeb? He has demolished a Muslim mosque in Golconda. He killed a Muslim ruler in Golconda. For him, it was lust of power, his throne. He
and
killed
yet,
his own
for some
brother
reason,
and he jailed his other.
Abbas, we still
Nobody
see
cares
people
about
that
Aurangzeb,
want
sir.
to call him an able administrator, want to come out and call him and want to come out and question those who want his tomb officially removed as an ASI protected monument. I mean, why should the central government, under whom the ASI comes, pay for the protection or maintenance of such a tomb, or the state government spend money and resources to secure and protect such a tomb? But if legally and rightfully done, why not? That demand can't be held to ransom as well, in the sense that just because a demand like that has come to the fore does not mean there are people who go out on the streets and decide to vandalize and burn public property. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time and I have to leave it there. But I thank you all, gentlemen, for joining us here on this edition of Plain Speak. It is time for a quick break here, but on the other side, we'll get you the controversy that involves the Congress and the BJP, and this is over foreign policy. Member of Parliament of the Congress, Shashi Tharoor, has broken ranks. He's lauded Prime Minister Modi once again. Does that leave the Congress party in an awkward spot? We'll find out.
लाल रंग इसका
and splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
A harrowing finish to the end of a long journey. Parachutes deployed, slowing the capsule barreling towards Earth. The Crew 9 astronauts landed off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
And SpaceX Freedom, splashdown.
NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov rode alongside Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams, finally back to Earth, splashing down Tuesday evening after Butch and Sunny spent more than 285 days aboard the International Space Station. The Boeing Starliner they rode up to space in was deemed unfit for them to return on due to helium leaks and propulsion issues. The pair was able to hitch a ride back home aboard a SpaceX Dragon capsule.
We see main chutes cut. Nick, Alex, Butch, Sunny, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
After their splashdown, recovery vessels zoomed up to the Crew Dragon, standing at the ready after the capsule plunged back into the atmosphere. SpaceX recovery ship named Megan used a large rig to haul the capsule carrying the astronauts out of the water. Afterwards, the crew was slated to be flown to Ellington Field and finally taken here to nearby Johnson Space Center to eventually be reunited with their families.
The big issue is these two astronauts missed their families.
The astronauts were originally slated to be away from home for an 8-day mission, but had their timeline extended to 9 months. Back here on Earth, their capsule was greeted by dolphins. At the Johnson Space Center, I'm Lee Waldman.
For the recovery teams themselves, we started the day taking a series of helicopters out to the vessel. Oh yeah, Sandra, this view is absolutely unbeatable. So just to kind of finish off what I was saying is once that side hatch of the spacecraft is open, that crew will be assisted out of the capsule one by one.
The distance there between dolphin cam back again. we can see.
So once securely on.
Welcome aboard the recovery vessel. Recovery personnel are completing final checks.
And there you have it. The side hatch is open for the first time since September. And there we do see Crew 9, some happy waves, smiles all around back on Earth.
Oh, looks like we're getting our next crew member here. That is none other than Sunny Williams. Big smile, big waves. She, like her other crew members, now will be assisted onto the mobility aid.
There we have it, some waves, some thumbs up, and some smiles. We're getting some views of him now as he egresses or exits the spacecraft.
Once again, some elation and cheers there from Butch Wilmore. We can see folks on board clapping as our first crew member.
And that is NASA astronaut Nick Hague, commander of Crew 9. Now out of Crew Dragon Freedom. Some smiles, thumbs up, and a wave. Can't get any better than that. And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
A harrowing finish to the end of a long journey. Parachutes deployed, slowing the capsule barreling towards Earth. The Crew 9 astronauts landed off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
In SpaceX Freedom, splashdown.
NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov rode alongside Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams, finally back to Earth. Splashing down Tuesday evening after Butch and Sunny spent more than 285 days aboard the International Space Station. The Boeing Starliner they rode up to space in was deemed unfit for them to return on due to helium leaks and propulsion issues. The pair was able to hitch a ride back home aboard a SpaceX Dragon capsule.
We see main chutes cut. Nick, Alex, Butch, Sunny, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
After their splashdown, recovery vessels zoomed up to the Crew Dragon, standing at the ready after the capsule plunged back into the atmosphere. SpaceX recovery ship named Megan.
Welcome back. You're watching Plain Speak. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor conceded that he was left with egg on his face in opposing India's stance when the Russia-Ukraine war broke out 3 years ago. He said that due to the policy that was adopted, the country is now in a position where it can make a difference to lasting peace. Earlier, Shashi Tharoor had criticized India's stance when Russia had attacked Ukraine. He had called for condemnation for the aggression. But this time, be it the first time Tharoor has praised the centre and the Prime Minister in particular, and he's done so twice in the last 2 days. Back in 2014, this was when The NDA government had just about come to power, and as far as foreign policy goes, Shashi Tharoor seems to have always been a fan of this government's policy. In a surprise praise from Narendra Modi, Shashi Tharoor had said that the opposition would be churlish in ignoring the voices of inclusive outreach of the new Prime Minister. 5 years later, Shashi Tharoor praised the Prime Minister again, stating that he should be commended whenever he says or does the right thing, arguing that this would lead credibility to the opposition's criticism when the Prime Minister errs. Shashi Tharoor even praised the centre when Kerala got its first Vande Bharat train, saying that the progress must be beyond politics and that the government has proved the same. This Member of Parliament from the Congress praised Narendra Modi for his outreach to the Islamic world, describing it as exemplary. He's perhaps the only Indian Prime Minister that has made as many visits to the Middle East. Congress leader Shashi Tharoor shot a rare praise for Prime Minister after President Donald Trump described the Indian Prime Minister as a better negotiator than him. Unfortunately for Shashi Tharoor, that's something that irked his party, also seeking explanation from him over it. Clearly, Tharoor has broken ranks within the party this time once again. The Congress, on the other hand, has been very vocal in its opposition to the Indian government's foreign policy. There are several instances that leave us wondering if the party is against the centre or against the country, as the BJP alleges. For one, Congress continues to claim that China has usurped our land. The centre has been silent over it, is the allegation. It says that the centre has no plans in mind whatsoever to claim our land back. This despite the External Affairs Minister, the Prime Minister, several other leaders of the BJP on the floor of the Parliament going on to say that this is not the case. In October 2023, the Congress party tied itself up in knots after a resolution of the party's working committee reaffirmed its support to the Palestinian cause without mentioning the horrific attack that was carried out by Hamas on Israel on that music festival in October that started this long-drawn war. The Congress continues to use the global tariff war waged by the United States, most recently the threats coming in from President Donald Trump to corner the centre. And how can we forget the kind of comments that had come to the fore when the Indian government, the Indian army especially, had conducted the surgical strikes on our neighbour, targeting the terror facilities that seem to be flourishing in Pakistan. So as we see this candid admission coming to the fore from Shashi Tharoor once again with his praise for the Prime Minister, more than him is the Congress left with egg on their face.
जब भी हम शांति के लिए बात करते हैं तो विश्व हमें सुनता है, क्योंकि ये बौद्ध की भूमि है, ये महात्मा गांधी की भूमि है, तो विश्व हमें सुनता है.
Answer the question that you just asked, Yamra. As an Indian government a person making such a decision, those considerations would really have to be uppermost before they say yes or no. But I can see it entirely possible that in these circumstances, India would say yes.
सबको आज सामने आकर शशि थरूर जी के इस स्टैंड की सराहना करनी चाहिए. भारतवर्ष के इस यूनिक डिप्लोमेटिक पोजीशन जिसके लिए प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का नेतृत्व दायी है, उसकी सराहना करनी चाहिए.
Modi ji's policy, the foreign policy of Bharat, was eventually correct, where India can now stand shoulder to shoulder both with United States and Russia.
को इस बात का अधिकार है कि जो नेशनल इश्यूज होते हैं या इंटरनेशनल इश्यूज होते हैं उसमें अपनी व्यक्तिगत राय दे सकते हैं.
Let's open this up. Rohan Gupta, spokesperson of the BJP, said Asad Abbas, political analyst, continue to be with us here on this broadcast. Asad Abbas, let me begin by asking you, why is the Congress completely silent today? They haven't even bothered to distance themselves from Shashi Tharoor.
I'm sure in due course of time, Poonamji, the response will certainly come through. But let me tell you something about Shashi Tharoor ji. You know, I've followed him over the last 10 years. Many a times he's been a member of parliament, his erudite speaker, and everything that he's done is so excellent. One important message that he gave and also resonated with Adanya Pradhan Mantri Modi ji has been that the opposition is the backbone of democracy. When the ruling dispensation is going wrong or there is an error, it is the opposition which sets it right. Also, we need to understand that here in this context, Mr. Shashi Tharoor has been right in calling out that, you know, looking at a world leader, he has been able to meet both the world leaders like Zelensky to even Putin in 2 weeks and been able to strike a balance. I think when it comes to India, when it comes to coming together as a country, as a sovereign nation, it's a great step. I don't think that onus or anything of that lies with the whole of Congress party. Of course, Shashi Tharoor is rightfully so in making his belief, his stand, his statement come through. But of course, certainly the Congress will hold its own stand, and in due course of time, it shall come through.
Sure, the Congress is not obligated to echo what Shashi Tharoor has been saying, and in fact, they haven't. And they have pulled him up on multiple occasions in the past for trying to break ranks from the party and say things that put them in an awkward position. But is this, Rohan Gupta, the writing on the wall that Shashi Tharoor is seeing, which the Congress party is not? Because many a times we've seen the questions that are being raised over this government's foreign policy over the last 1 decade, be it China, be it Pakistan, be it the issue of taking sides as far as Israel was concerned most recently. Is that something that perhaps the Congress party could take cue from?
Something which is indefendable should not be defended. That's the problem of Congress party. You have right to oppose Modi government, you have right to oppose BJP, but in that process, if you start opposing country, people will not like that. You see many instances like PM's US visit, then also Mr. Shashi Tharoor praised, or any other issue, whether it is Palestine or Israel or Ukraine or Russia. India has been taken very, very mature stand, and which has been appreciated by everybody across the globe, rank and file. Why you have to oppose that? You do politics, but politics is not necessary to be done in each and every case where it is crystal clear that your narrative is completely wrong. Still opposition parties are opposing something where India is being made proud. I think this is the basic problem. Shashi Tharoor is the opposition leader. That doesn't mean that he has to oppose everything. If he praises something, that increases the reliability of the opposition. But so-called darbaris of the Congress party today, they don't understand that. They feel that if we criticize Modi or attack Modi directly or government, our role as an opposition party is done. No, you have to act as a responsible opposition parties. When something you cannot defend, you should not question that. I'll give you one example. When they were trying to support Palestine or trying to raise voice against Israel, same time Hindus were butchered in Bangladesh. Not even for the next three months from that event started, not even a single Congress leader or opposition leader raised any questions on that because of appeasement politics. So when your narrative or your stand is influenced by your objective behind, I think people will not trust you. That's the core issue. When you create, when you come out to the people, you should think about the country, you should think about the people of the country, then and then people will trust you. Here, what wrong Shashi Tharoor has said? Across the world, our stand has been appreciated between Russia and
probably
Ukraine.
Even the Congress party can't find anything wrong with it, which is why they haven't come out and said anything. But Sir Abbas, you had a quick rebuttal to make before I
Yes,
ask
a quick rebuttal. It's an absolute pleasure to debate with my good friend Rohan Gupta ji. Just about a year back or a couple of days back, he was singing praises of Congress party. Now on the other end, but I would definitely say, of course, he's with the BJP. But the fact is, we need to understand, especially the BJP and Mr. Rohan Gupta, is that all five fingers here are not the same, sir. If the opposition and the ruling dispensation are going to sing the same song, how will it even distinguish between the two? The fact is, of course, the opposition is rightful. It has raised its concerns and so on and so forth. The Congress party also that you're calling out as Darbari culture, it's absolutely unfair, sir, for you to say that. We've been fantastic leaders across the length and breadth of the Congress party, which is the old party of India, the grand old party of India. But now, coming to the matters of national security, coming into the matters of national interest, coming to the issues that make a significant difference in international geopolitics, of course, we must align and come together. You raised the issue of Palestine, sir. Many times the Congress and the BJP and the ruling dispensation opposition has been on one word. Even Atal Bihari Vajpayee previously has made statement on this. And India stands with one policy, which is a two-state policy in those matters. Even in Bangladesh, many times Congress leaders have made statements, sir. They have condemned, unequivocally, unconditionally condemned what happened there. The fact is, this division politics is absolutely no-go. Shashi Tharoor or even a Jairam Ramesh or even Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, so on and so forth, have made many statements which unite this country and follow through as India as a nation. And respected sir, if India win, we win. It's not about opposition.
Asad Abbas, it's interesting that you named Jairam Ramesh in that list also, because Jairam Ramesh is also one of those leaders from whom the party as a whole has had to recently distance themselves from a certain comment that they felt was in the party line. But Rohan Gupta, as far as the Congress is concerned, sure, one person is praising what he thinks is right. He's a career diplomat. He comes from a point of view of an expert on the subject matter. But why should the Congress as a whole agree with it?
I'm not saying they have to agree with that. I think everybody should be given a bit of independence to express their views. He should not be treated as enemy of the party. The gentleman whom you named, whether it is Sanyog or Prayog, I don't know. But that gentleman is one person. His opinion is always different from the party's opinion, and he is the in charge of Congress media. See, that's the problem. There are certain darbaris who have privilege to express their views which are against party, and still they get away. And people like Shashi Tharoor, who have experience in international relationship as a diplomat also, they have been questioned. Why? Why you are questioning somebody who has that kind of respect and who has that kind of experience, that whatever opinion he makes, it obviously makes sense. And again, my friend Syed was saying, obviously, I'm not saying that Congress has to agree with everything what BJP says, but please choose your, opposition for the matters which are relevant to the people rather than just criticizing each and everything. He told that Bangladesh Hindus, yes, they criticize, but after 6 months, after they lost Maharashtra election, they realized that their narrative is going against the narrative of country is feeling. Again, I'm giving you example of Mahakumbh. Why to go against, sentiments of the people where 100 crore people are following particular Sanatan ideology? Why you have to speak against that? People don't appreciate that. But so-called darbaris who are now ruling Congress party, please, let me just complete. The so-called darbaris who are now ruling Congress party, they are fit in the mind of the senior leaders that whatever they are saying is right, and anybody who makes little sense, whoever it, whether it is state level or what, it is their enemy. Just see the history of Congress party for last 5 years. People who had made sense, they have been thrown out because they make sense, and they make these leaders uncomfortable. Shashi Tharoor has been questioned by Congress party for just making positive comments on Prime Minister's US visit. He was reprimanded. He was questioned. The local leaders of Kerala, they attacked him. Why?
That is a fact, isn't it? Shashi Tharoor was pulled up for the kind of comments that he had made, where he had praised the Prime Minister's recent United States visit. Not just party leaders from his state of Kerala, but he was also here in the national capital. He met with the top brass of the Congress party. What kind of message do you think that sends for a party that says that our voice is being muzzled in the parliament and the government does not let us speak? You are pulling up your own leaders for speaking their mind.
Poonamji, the fact of the matter is, like I said earlier, in the matters of national security, the national interest, international geopolitics, when it comes to we as a country, as a sovereign nation, India, I think be it the opposition or the ruling dispensation, we should certainly come together in one voice, and that unity must be sacrosanct. But on a lighter note, on a humble note, on a very joke note, I'd like to ask my good friend here, Rohan Gupta Sahab, many a times over the last several statements of Shashi Tharoor ji, who I greatly admire, have been quite pro-BJP and pro-Modi. Is it true, sir, that there are talks of your party and Shashi Tharoor ji to join Bharatiya Janata Party? Let me set the cat among the pigeons and ask you this on national television.
Shashi Tharoor himself has denied it, but sure, Rohan Gupta, the question was raised.
I will answer you on national TV that you are pushing leaders like Shashi Tharoor out of the party by questioning his wisdom, by questioning his each and every statement. So it is not, you are pushing, you are a sensible person. That's why it is written political analyst and not Congress spokesperson. If you have to put that, you have to become Darbari's Charan Chambak. You have to become. You are an independent guy, a nice guy. You also represent your views, and that's why you are political analyst.
You know it yourself.
You cannot be, if you are a sensible person, you cannot be a spokesperson. You will be questioned to raise your points. And that's why the culture has changed.
You know it.
That's what I'm saying. The culture has come. This is the Darbari culture currently, which was never there. Congress is the opposition party.
But you were
it is the big history. It is responsibility. Today, the narrative what Congress party is, just let me complete. Let me
Abbas, to take your point forward that sure enough, Rohan Gupta may have been a Congress person at one point. He now speaks in the BJP. But there are several others like that who've left the Congress party because perhaps they saw the writing on the wall. They perhaps saw that this party is not going anywhere with what their criticism is. Criticism has to be constructive, not for the sake of it.
There are leaders of BJP who have also left Bharatiya Janata Party. They've also joined Trinamool Congress. They've joined the Congress. This happens. It's a democracy, and in every political party, there are bound to be differences.
But is there democracy? That's exactly what I was asking you. If there was democracy, why was Shashi Tharoor pulled up by his own party for making comments that he thought he made in his wisdom?
Many a times, Poonam ji, as a matter of fact, Shashi Tharoor Sahab has not taken a party line which has always been through. Many a times he's made a personal statement, not just now, even during the UPA 1. It's been doomsday for him when he tweeted with respect to Indian Premier League, when he was asked to keep himself away from the Indian Premier League. He's tweeted, and many a times he'd say, "अपने पैरों पे इन्होंने कुल्हाड़ी मारी है." He's been in many controversies previously because of his late wife, what happened, and even during the IPL spectrum. Many a times he's been outspoken. That is great. But many a times not towing the party line. Many a times the party has asked you to keep away from the limelight of sports and so on and so forth. He's done that unto himself. And many a times leaders have left the party because they are not given posts. And don't you agree with me, Rohan Bhai? You deserve something better.
I had
and you
enough
didn't
posts.
get it.
I was never there for party in post. It is a
Not
question of
true.
self-respect. And
Then
one more
join the
point, just one more
NGO.
point. Just to add
Join a
one more point.
non-profit, sir.
You are questioning now DK
Let's be
Shivkumar
honest here.
also. Another, again, you will say that he is also on talks. There was Darbari culture. Now they are questioning DK Shivkumar for praising Mahakumbh. And he was forced, senior people like he was forced to, criticize Kumbh next day. So this is the culture. He was
Sir, local leaders
questioned for
made the
attending one
statement.
function in Kerala.
DK is
So
a
this is the
leader
problem
who's
here.
respected
You
by
need to understand. Let me just
all the
complete.
family of
Yes, I
Gandhi,
never
sir.
spoke in between. Let me complete. See, it is the question of where to draw a line. You are saying that your party, everybody has independence and everybody can raise their voice. Then why so much of strong rebuttal on people like Shashi Tharoor who have just expressed their views? Why questioning DK Shivkumar just for praising Kumbh? Is it making it anti-Congress
Okay, I will
if you
answer
praise
that.
his
I will
Kumbh?
answer
No.
that.
That is the problem. That is the
With
mindset
respect
problem which
to,
cannot be
I will
changed.
answer that.
And
With
this is because
respect
of
to
this
DK
Okay,
mindset.
Asad
Shivkumar,
Abbas,
Now Congress has
okay,
completely
Asad
lost
Abbas
the
will rebuttal to the
people.
DK Shivkumar question.
Yeah.
That brings to the question
It
that I
is.
have been asking, that for a party that preaches democracy, clearly there seems to be very little within the party.
I come
There
from
is no
Karnataka,
margin.
Poonam ji, and I can tell you, I come from
Praising Kumbh is
Karnataka.
Rohan Gupta, let him
have,
finish, please.
Yes, just 10 seconds, Ron Bhai. I have followed DK Shivkumar through and through over the last 20 years of my life. I come from Bengaluru, Karnataka. I have had many great opportunities to meet and greet with DK Shivkumar. And I can promise you the fact that with DK Shivkumar's presence at Mahakumbh, show me one national leader or a senior leader who actually made a statement which is against, not a few irrelevant local leaders who have nothing to do with it.
They are not local leaders, sir. They are ministers in the state government. They are office bearers of the party
He's
in
a
the
proud
state.
Hindu. And he
Absolutely.
loves his religion, and he's a proud Indian, and he's a congressman, and which he will never
That is
leave
not
his party.
appreciated by
Sir,
Congress
they
party.
must understand that a few leaders who are irrelevant have
If
nothing
tomorrow
to do
he
with
is out of the
anything.
party,
You
it is
cannot
because
take
of the
their statement
Darbaris.
seriously.
If
Did
tomorrow he also decides
Priyanka
to
Gandhi,
quit the party,
Sonia
it is
When
Gandhi,
because of
office
the
bearer
Darbaris.
of the
Rahul Gandhi
Congress
make a
party, Syed
statement
Asad
on that,
Abbas, makes
it's
a
not fair.
comment like this on social media in public domain to advise DK Shivkumar, who's the Deputy Chief Minister of the state, to say that you're sending the wrong kind of message to party cadre.
No, absolutely not. It is that one AICC member or a secretary who's made that statement, and maybe a local leader from Karnataka, but that absolutely holds no relevance of what DK Shivkumar
See,
is,
that is at
his
the behest
political
of
standing in
Darbari,
the
Syed.
Congress
You don't
party.
know Congress
Rohan Bhai,
party
just
or
10
what?
seconds.
They
Rohan
have
Bhai,
no
10
courage to
seconds,
speak.
Rohan Bhai.
Okay,
10 seconds,
okay,
Rohan Bhai.
let's not digress. Let's bring
10
back the
seconds.
subject to
10
Shashi
seconds.
Tharoor and
Yes, 10
foreign
seconds.
policy. Rohan Gupta, I want to ask you this. Very often when the Congress party or anybody in the opposition has questioned the Indian government's position on any foreign policy matters or the kind of decisions that the government has taken, the BJP has often said that this is not opposing the government but opposing the country as a whole. But why is that? Can the opposition not ask questions of a certain decision or a policy decision that the government has taken? Isn't that well within the rights of democracy as well?
See, absolutely, Poonam. See, as PM has said, that criticism is essence of democracy. Absolutely, absolutely, opposition has complete right to question the government, and government has to answer, and that's why the parliament is there. It is not that government runs away from the responsibility, but in that process, when you go out of the country, criticize our country, do you feel that is right? Do you feel that international forum is the stage to discuss our domestic issues? Definitely, you raise questions on Mr. Modi and BJP and their policies and all. But going out of country saying that India is at war, north and south, all these things, why to discuss our internal issues outside? Definitely, you have parliament
Ron
where
Bhai,
you can go and ask
during
questions to
UPA
the
1,
government,
during
and
UPA
government
2, didn't you
they have
question
to
the
answer
foreign
your
policies
questions.
under Dr.
But
Manmohan
using
Singh?
international platform for
Didn't you call him a
criticism of
weak prime
government,
minister?
just I
Isn't
was
that
not
fair?
speaking, Sayed bhai. Asad bhai, please
You
let me
spoke when I
complete.
spoke, Ron
Just
Bhai.
let me complete.
You spoke.
Just let me complete. Just let me
Okay,
complete.
okay. Give me
Again,
10
my
seconds
point
after
is,
this.
Poonam, you have seen that just before the start of any parliament session, that international report will come and Congress will act on that. This is not Sanyog, this is Prayog. That is the problem. In opposing BJP or government, if you are going against the country, that is a serious problem. And that is what the whole country is observing now. And that's why Congress is losing elections after elections.
Ashad Abbas, quick
10
rebuttal,
seconds.
please. I'm running out of
Quick
time. Go
rebuttal.
ahead.
Coming to this, during the United Progressive Alliance 1, UPA 2, under the rule of Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, many a times, BJP leaders, including the late Sushma Swaraj ji, has raised many questions on the foreign policy. Let's agree to that. It's all right. When you're in opposition, you need to question. But the fact is, when it comes to one nation, we need to come together as one voice. Criticism is a part of democracy. Everybody agrees. Modi ji, me, yourself, and Rohan Gupta ji.
And we really hope the Congress party follows that as well. And unfortunately, Shashi Tharoor does not get pulled up for this particular comment. We'll of course keep an eye out if there is an official response to this from the Congress party, because so far there has been none. But I thank you both gentlemen for joining us here on this edition. Shifting focus now to the one story that grabbed headlines for the last 24 hours. Smiles, waves and thumbs up. It couldn't get any better than that at 3:27 a.m. this morning when astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore landed safely back on Earth after a 9-month stay aboard the International Space Station. The SpaceX Dragon spacecraft carrying the two astronauts along with the two other astronauts, Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov, made their re-entry before deploying parachutes for a smooth splashdown off the coast of Florida. NASA officials praised their resilience, their adaptability through this extended mission. The White House celebrated the successful mission as well. Promise made, promise kept was what SpaceX founder Elon Musk said right on their arrival. In fact, Prime Minister Modi too welcomed Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, and that tribute was especially special since Sunita Williams can trace her roots back to Gujarat. She's even met the Prime Minister when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. But here's that moment for which several thousand Indians and people around the world saw that splashdown at about 3:27 a.m. this morning.
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
A harrowing finish to the end of a long journey. Parachutes deployed, slowing the capsule barreling towards Earth. The crew 9 astronauts landed off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
In SpaceX Freedom, splashdown.
NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov rode alongside Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams, finally back to Earth, splashing down Tuesday evening after Butch and Sunny spent more than 285 days aboard the International Space Station. The Boeing Starliner they rode up to space in was deemed unfit for them to return on due to helium leaks and propulsion issues. The pair was able to hitch a ride back home aboard a SpaceX Dragon capsule.
We see main chutes cut. Nick, Alex, Butch, Sunny, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
After their splashdown, recovery vessels zoomed up to the Crew Dragon, standing at the ready after the capsule plunged back into the atmosphere. SpaceX recovery ship named Megan used a large rig to haul the capsule carrying the astronauts out of the water. Afterwards, the crew was slated to be flown to Ellington Field and finally taken here to nearby Johnson Space Center to eventually be reunited with their families.
The big issue is these two astronauts missed their families.
The astronauts were originally slated to be away from home for an 8-day mission, but had their timeline extended to 9 months. Back here on Earth, their capsule was greeted by dolphins. At the Johnson Space Center, I'm Lee Waldman.
Brought to you by...
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
A harrowing finish to the end of a long journey. Parachutes deployed, slowing the capsule barreling towards Earth. The crew 9 astronauts landed off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
In SpaceX Freedom, splashdown.
NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov rode alongside Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams, finally back to Earth, splashing down Tuesday evening after Butch and Sunny spent more than 285 days aboard the International Space Station. The Boeing Starliner they rode up to space in was deemed unfit for them to return on due to helium leaks and propulsion issues. The pair was able to hitch a ride back home aboard a SpaceX Dragon capsule.
We see main chutes cut. Nick, Alex, Butch, Sunny, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
After their splashdown, recovery